rotation, so therefore there's a lot more pool in rotation than there is in any other game. You have to know a lot about Kiss's billiards
It's a combination of all games. 9 balls, straight pool, 1 pocket, billiards.
Anyways, I was about to say that Efren Bata Reyes is the
mouth. Nice.
Oh my.
Wow.
You know, I really feel like, most of the time I feel like playing pool is the greatest thing on earth. This, right?
We are doing sitting next to you, watching the greatest players play. Look at he's at this he.
You're saying who gets lucky is gonna win this.
Do I need to say more?
Fully enough to continue falling.
Scratch, because as he's going to it, he will have a high ball on it. And follow.
Emotional, damn it!
Follow and scratch as I called it. That's the only.
In the very near future. So therefore, if he goes on to win,
Look at the 9 ball.
now that's the third time.
Damn! Wala lamang talo na.
Reyes is popular at the 9 on the break.
Video credited to Accu-Stats Video Productions. Visit and subscribe to their channel. For more international billiard games, just click the link below.
In the beauty of the game.
Oh,
And that's really an honor.
You're the tambourine man. Anyways, after game number 9, after game number 9, Earl Strickland trails in the match by 3 games, 6 games to 3.
No, but that's okay. It was before my time.
Yeah, that's okay too. There's a lot of things that happened before your time, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
Such as the men and the women. It's really a shame.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that at a later time, right. Charge Reyes, after falling behind 6 games to 0, finding himself now trailing only by 3 games, and there was an opportunity to even narrow the gap to within 2. Pass the 9 into the lower right-hand corner, so therefore he has to play the angle off of the 6 to drop for the 7 for position for the lower left-hand corner. And it looks like he's played it. All he needs to do now is follow it to the side cushion, and he's in perfect line. I thought he was a little straighter on the 6th than that. When I saw the cue ball come down in this direction, I was kind of surprised. But of course, like I mentioned before, our vantage point sometimes sees angles much differently than what he sees at the table. Game number 10 goes to Earl Strickland, and all of a sudden we have...
Well, seemed to always be glued to the rail. No matter where I was, no matter what I was trying to do, it was glued to the rail. And you will almost never see a top player coming, you know, they're having to come with an incredible shot. And they really had it was very tough for them to control the speed of the shot. But when they have control of the shot, you will never see them leave themselves on the rail.
Well, there's so much merit to that. You know what I mean? Put 2
That's
fingers
right.
in between the rail and the cue ball. If they could just do that, any one of the top players could win consistently.
Right.
Because of that very point that you brought up.
Did you just see that shot? Did you just see that shot? He had to miss
Very nice shot.
I get a little excited when I watch it.
Sometimes he's confronted with situations that you really think that he's gotten himself out of line, but he really hasn't gotten himself out of line because there really wasn't any line for him to get into other than the line he's ended up in. So therefore, he has to deal with that situation, and most often he's dealing with it well because he's still at the table. And actually, is to play is rotation. Rotation is just like 9 ball. You have to run the balls in their numerical order 1 through the 15 on the table when you play rotation. So therefore, there's a lot more pool in rotation than there is in any other game. You have to know a lot about Kiss's billiards combination.
It's a combination of all games. 9 balls, straight pull, 1 pocket, billiards.
Anyways, I was about to say that Efren Bata Reyes is the undisputed king of rotation. Reyes is the undisputed king of rotation, and that says a lot. Game number 11 goes to Reyes, who now gets back on the winning track. He now leads in the match by 3 games.
Side pocket. He had a very small target area there.
But he was able to thread the needle like he so often does.
Because he's a master.
He certainly is, and you're here witnessing all this. Aren't you just excited? Thrilled?
I can't even. Yeah.
5 and 8, the 1 being to the left of the 8. Cue ball next to the 5 near the side pocket there. And this is really a dilemma here. He doesn't have really much to do.
They're breaking well and not coming up with a shot. Neither one of them seems to be able to string racks because they're both pushing out or playing safe. Something. Another example
It's
of
possible
history.
interfering balls that may preclude Earl from even having a shot at the 1, which exactly was what happened.
Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I think that you should try and replay what he just did there when you watch this video and see what you can come up with, and then see how quickly he came up with
develop
right.
an imagination.
That's right.
And because now you've seen it before, if it comes up and you can recognize it, possibly you might be able to even execute it. Because you have to know it's available before you can execute it.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly you might be able to even execute it. Because you have to know it's available before you can execute it.
Mm-hmm. He smiles when he misses a shot. He smiles, he scratches his head and walks away.
And then does something
That's
like
right.
that.
I don't think Earl's going to like his next shot here. Okay.
Beautifully executed once again, positioning the cue ball
Oh,
behind. He needed to execute that shot perfectly in terms of hitting the 1 ball squarely, following through it, and then eventually ending up behind the 3. So therefore, even though he was baffled, it wasn't for long.
Such a tough shot. To control the follow through. You know, when you're following through a ball to a different direction.
This is a very, very difficult situation. Lower left-hand corner. The cue ball will then go toward the 9. There's a good possibility they may even scratch off the 9.
Or make the 9.
So he opted to play the safe. He said, no, I'm not going to fool with this. It's a little bit too dangerous. I'm going to play the safe and possibly even hook him behind the 6. You know, with good execution like this, he's going to get good results. And he does this quite often.
He saw that even if he made the shot, most likely there was no reward.
The position of the 1 and 8 at the other end of the table with
I think
my
you can see
vantage
the
point,
1.
if the 1-8 combination is available. Rick,
No.
can you give us a close-up on that?
I don't believe it is.
It's pretty close. If he, I don't
He hits
know.
the right side of the 1, but he can barely see the left side of the 1.
No, he's looking at it now, and I think he put his finger on the right point of the upper corner pocket, but he certainly has a problem.
He doesn't want to leave the 1 there after he banks the 8 ball away.
No, he tried to back kick the 1, and one of the very few times he has committed an error.
His head,
He's
sit
got to
down.
Well, I tell you what, you've been
I study him.
analyzing his game quite well. You know, you do study him.
He did that exactly, didn't
Exactly the way you described, like it was planned. He could afford to come up table a little bit farther than that, but
he? These
still
Accu-Stats
has-
tapes are, in fact, more valuable than practice.
I
And
think
again, I
they're
practice so much.
invaluable.
I learned so much from these tapes. I study them, and it's real important to understand that just watch. I don't think you get nearly as much out of it as I do in the way that when I watch a tape, I watch exactly what they do, and before they shoot it, I think about it. I exercise my brain to try to, I really think about, well, what would I do in this situation? And when they do something different, I want to understand why. And if I don't know why, I will 1,000 times if I have to, till I can start to understand.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll comment on that also. After game number, I believe 12, Earl Strickland now trails by only 2 games in the match, 7 games to 5. Now, they had some instructional backgammon. you know you're learning. So
Right.
that's very similar to what you just said.
That's right.
You would look at the shot and decide how you would play it, then you would watch to see how the pro plays it. So it's the same thing. And you're right on in knowing how
Do not
to take
just
advantage of the tapes.
do not just look. Just breathe it in. This is.
I'd like to ask you a question. What do you do in your spare time when you're not eating or playing pool?
And then I watch an Accu-Stats tapes while I have breakfast. At the end of the Accu-Stats tapes, I go to the pool room. When I come home from the pool room, I watch an Accu-Stats tape. And then I go to sleep so that I can wake up in the morning and play more pool. And I will tell you something. I go to sleep so that I can wake up in the morning and play more pool. And I will tell you something. Honestly, without exaggeration, there is not a night I don't go to sleep
Like heaven.
anxious. You know, I really feel like most of the time I feel like playing pool is the greatest thing on earth. This right here we are doing, sitting next to you, watching the greatest players play. Is look at he's at this he. Do I need to say more? Need I say more?
2 and the 3. I don't know if the 2 will pass the 3 into the corner pocket. It looks like he's gotten a little bit of a fortuitous roll here. Maybe even the billiard may not even be makeable.
Earl is
He's
making a
underneath
gesture
the 2.
right now. He was
Yeah, he's showing
that had he been a hair differently, he would have had a shot either way. He played a great shot there, a nice safety there.
Right. What he had to work with, he did well with. So therefore, he did his job. Efren's back at the table to see if he can circumvent.
I believe he's going to try to hit the bottoms of the 2. Do you think so? Putting the 2 up table and bring the cue ball back down?
Exactly. That's
And
exactly
that's what he did.
attempted. Now, he got a little bit of a fortuitous roll once again because
He just hit it flow than he wanted to.
he's not playing with a pencil, you know. And he's
It
playing
seems
with
like he does
sometimes
most of
it
the
does,
time.
yeah. Okay, Earl's put all his eggs in one basket by trying to position the cue ball behind the 7 and also position the 2 ball near the side rail. Had he not done that, this is a very difficult shot. If he opts to shoot it hard, he has to clear a lot of traffic on the right table, the 6, 8, and the 5, or he can roll it in. He's looking like he's going to pound it. Okay, when you shoot balls hard, you diminish the accuracy of the shot somewhat. Now, once again, a little bit of a fortuitous roll. And Efren knows it, you know, but that's the only way he knows how to respond to stuff like that. What's he going to do, you know? That's just the nature of the game. Sometimes it happens for you, sometimes it happens. I can't see the cue ball. He's positioned
He's
behind the 7.
behind
He
the
needs him
7.
behind the right-hand corner. All Reyes needs to do now
Is
is
touch the ball.
execute the mass A shot. And then he'll have not only the 2, but position for the 3.
The only way it could go wrong here is if he hits it fully enough to continue to fall and scratch, because as he's going to it, he will have a high ball on it. And follow and scratch, as I called it. That's the only thing that could go wrong. I knew he was going to hit that ball.
Yeah.
Scratch, as I called it. That's the only thing that could go wrong. I knew he was going to hit that ball.
You know, you're starting to come up with great calls already. Yeah, you're looking to steal this job here, right?
I knew he was going to hit the ball. That was the only thing that could go wrong.
There was another point that you brought up earlier in the telecast. You have to maintain that patience, that deliberate play to get back into the match, and a lot of players don't have that. Now, I made a comment in an earlier match with David Maddox. He agreed, and he also brought up the point that sometimes when players fall behind, they have a tendency to start shooting very quickly, thinking that they're going to catch up quicker. But actually, that's a method.
Did you see that 6 ball? Do you think you would have won 2 rails on that shot? I'm sorry, but that's something that I disagree with him, and of course he's the better player, but I wanted to ask you on that 6 ball, maintained the angle that I wanted from the time it hit the rail all down towards the 7. Whereas he went 2 rails and he was closer to straight in for a longer period of time when he needed to keep an angle no matter what.
Well,
to get on the 8
the
ball
way
net.
you explained it, look at this. Athleticism he's just displayed here. I don't know, he was just bent over 2, 3 different ways, and he was able to put down the ball. But the way you explained it to me made perfect sense, so therefore I really in favor of Reyes. And both of us agreed that that lead was certainly not
No lead is great enough.
insurmountable when you're playing the caliber of players that are out there tonight.
That will be very costly.
You're playing the caliber of players that are out there tonight.
That will be very costly.
Notice the position of the 3 ball. The 8 ball is in corner.
Oh no, it might not. It might not be.
Well, maybe it isn't, and maybe it is. Right now, I can't tell from our vantage point. Looking at the monitor, it appears that one thing good for Reyes is that Earl pocketed the 1 on the break, so now he has the luxury of placing cue ball in hand.
Look.
Okay, obviously, it looks like it has blocked the pocket, or maybe it hasn't.
It hasn't, but it
Because
doesn't matter. He's not going to position for that pocket anyway.
He might.
I don't think so.
Okay, he opted to go to the corner, which is an indication that maybe the 8 did block the bottom corner.
But it was
Well, he could have gone up tables exactly the way he did it for position.
That's true.
He could have gone a little farther. Hit a little roughly,
And
but
jumped up
nevertheless
on the shot.
struck it. Well, I think, sometimes it's okay to jump. After you strike the object ball and the cue ball, it's okay to jump. The problems are when you jump before striking the cue ball.
Because your body's in motion.
Yeah, that's when you have a problem.
You know who jumps up a lot, but he jumps up after he strokes the balls, Tommy Kennedy.
After contacting the ball.
And what a great player he is.
He certainly is, and he had a great tournament.
I believe so.
I think he finished 5th in this event.
Fifth.
May have been. No, I think it was 5th. 5th, matter of fact. C.J. Wiley just defeated Rodolfo Luak. Luak finished in 4th. C.J. Wiley is now in 3rd position. And by the way, after I tell you what the score is, it's 8 games to 6 in favor of Reyes. And I mentioned to David Mannix in the earlier match that C.J. Wiley is on the verge of cracking the ice, and it looks like he's going to win. It's going to be in the very near future. So therefore, if he goes on to win, there
Look at
goes
the 9 ball.
Now that's the 3rd time Reyes has pocketed the 9 on the break, and now he leads in the match by the score of 9. Now that's the 3rd time Reyes has pocketed the 9 on the break, and now he leads in the match by the score of 9 games to 6. He leads by 3 games.
Depending on which ball is not frozen. So when you're racking the ball, make sure you freeze both those back 2 balls to the 9. You'll save yourself a lot of heartache.
Well, thank you. I think I will. There it goes again. It was going again. Well, anyways, I commented to David Mannix about C.J. Wiley. I said, I think that Wiley's here for it could be this one. I wouldn't be surprised, really, because he's breaking very well, and he's shooting very well, and he has a lot of confidence. But, of course, he has a couple obstacles to overcome, and those 2 obstacles are the gentlemen that are out there on the floor right now, in Reyes and Strickland.
Left earl a jump shot. I don't think that 2 ball clears the 5 into the lower left-hand corner pocket. So even when the shot, he didn't go for the
That's
jump
an
shot.
excellent kick. He was able to put both the 1 ball and
really
the cue
got
ball
that wrong.
on opposite sides of the table, and he was certainly ill-fated in the respect that both balls 2 and the 5. Rick, if we can get a close-up of the 2 and the 5 in relation to the corner pocket, maybe we can have a little better look. You may be right, it may not go, so therefore, what is he going to do now? Hit the right-hand side of the 2, then go cross-table, possibly behind the 8 or the 3, or maybe he's forcing it in. He's drawing it, forcing it in. Okay, that's what he did.
With the draw, gave the 2
right,
balls fall.
the ball, which then forced the 2 ball through the 5 into the pocket and created that angle shot. It's just a technique that he obviously knew, so therefore it made the shot play quite simple.
It was a great shot, Billy.
I'm sorry, I just
You have to have knowledge, you have to have touch, you have to know how much draw and what kind of speed. It was a great shot. I mean, it was a great shot.
I know what you mean,
I win.
Bob. I know what you mean. I apologize. Inside joke. Okay, back to the match.
Billy's commenting about my ex-boyfriend that never to argue with me because I'm always right. Bobby, who's listening in the crowd. custom cue, Bobby Hunter custom cues, which he's selling here at the San Reno Regency tournament in Reno.
Believe me, you know, a lot of people aren't going to believe you because of Bobby and you, but believe me, Bobby Hunter is one of the finest cue makers in the world, only making cues for a short period of time.
So what are you saying? Your word is good enough, but mine isn't? Although you're best friends with Bob
but it's
also?
through association, they're going to think that you're biased.
You're great friends with Bob. You could be biased too.
Why'd you have to say that?
You can reach his cues at 1-702-884-cues.
In the meantime, this isn't really that easy of a shot. But it hit the center of the pocket.
That's right.
And with the pocketing of the 9, Reyes will now find himself on the hill, leading Strickland by the score of 10 games to 6.
And Earl is not done yet.
Well, you know, Earl has to have an opportunity.
Do you
Okay,
Reyes
well,
is
I
gonna
think
have
that
a shot?
Strickland is going to... See, you got
Reyes
me
is certainly
crazy.
going to make a ball. Will he have a shot on the 1?
I think that Reyes is going to make a
To
ball.
make sure that 9 ball doesn't go in the pocket this
I don't
time.
know about that. He made the 1. Then well, let's take a look at the 2. Where's the 4? He does not have
Thank
an
you very
offensive
much.
shot.
Now is Earl's turn.
We don't have to see what he's made of.
No matter what shot he gets right now,
He's already earned.
no matter what shot he gets right now,
The
it's going to be a
reputation.
tough shot. That is clear. Okay, he's pushing out. Making sure he kept him on the rail.
Blocks the lower pocket for the 2. Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do here. He's opting to cross the 2 back up table position.
That
to
was a
keep well
great
behind the
shot.
7.
Look at that. Took him no time at all.
Up to kick off the side cushion and try to pocket the 2. Kick toward the 2. He'll try to go ahead and pocket it. If he's able to put the 2 down, I think it's going to be history.
You think he's going to go 2 rails or 1?
He's going to go 1 reel right after 2.
Right to the right to the
Well, he went 2 cushions. I like the chances of him going for the pocket. You know, the ball plays bigger going 2 cushions, but that's not the time to play the bigness of the ball. That was the time to go for the pocket. Because if you expected to come out of it with the safety, I think you were expecting a little bit too much. If he would have gone for the pocket, had he hit the ball easy, then he would have won the match. But now we'll see if Earl responds to the challenge, and
he way overdrew that ball.
Yes, he did.
I believe he was playing for the side pocket.
Oh, obviously. By the way, this lead definitely is surmountable considering the generosity of the table, giving up balls on the break. That is. Even a 5-game lead in a race to 11, 10 games to 6, still surmountable because of the big pockets and the way the balls open up for both players. A lot of action, pocketing, a lot of balls on the break. Earl's not out of it yet. After game 17, Earl Strickland trails the match 7 games to 10 and cannot afford to make any more mistakes thereafter, or it could be, or Reyes is racking the balls. He seems to believe that Reyes isn't racking the balls tightly enough for him. And because he's racking them tight, and he's been giving Reyes a real good rack, and that's the reason why Reyes has been pocketing the 9s, and so therefore he's kind of like disgruntled about that. In the meantime, can the 2 pass the 4? I asked you a question. You had an opportunity to talk.
Myself? I have no idea.
Oh, first time you had no idea.
Billy, the 2 can pass the 4.
Okay, he has a possible 3-9 billiard. He has playing the safety here. But of course, I really don't have the offensive arsenal that he does, so therefore he may see something differently.
Look at this. How'd he hit it?
He made a very good shot. I didn't think that shot was possibly. I may have executed that shot, or at least tried to, but he saw the shot, executed it perfectly. He's at the table once again with an
Ice.
opportunity.
Ice. That's what's in his veins.
Ice, you think?
Ice.
Well, he's gotten himself, I think, in reality.
He's not
showing-
sure he'd really be upset.
Yeah, he's showing no sign of
distress.
And so therefore a distress indication that he is in line. Game 18 looks like it's going to go Strickland's way. With the pocketing of the 9, all of a sudden Earl will find himself only 2 games from the lead, trailing 8 games to 10. It's not over yet. Starting to fall right in that pattern. 10 to 8. Earl needing to win only the next 2 consecutive games, and we'll have another cliffhanger here, 10 games apiece. But first, he has to pocket a ball on the break, come up with a shot, and...
You know, when your opponent is on the hill, the breaks, making sure you don't scratch on the break is so important that some
One
people...
ball. Nothing. Nothing. Seems like it's going to be all over, Jeanette. Ray is stepping to the table, leading the match 10 games to 8, has an golden opportunity to close out. Golden opportunity.
The 4 ball does clear the 9 into the lower right-hand corner pocket.
Well, considering the position of the 3, he could play the 4 in a different pocket, had the 3 been up table.
It's true.
But I don't particularly look like he's going to have to do something a little extra here to gain a shot on the 3. He wanted a little straighter angle than he ended up with. Now he's going to have to go cross table, which he does.
Great shot.
He avoided the contact of the 4. 5 is. What do you want to do? You want to follow past the 9, play shape for the 4 on the side, go uphill off of that, or what do you want to do here? Okay, he went into the 9, and it looks like he's fallen on the wrong position of the 5 at the other end of the table. He is on the wrong side of the 4. After pocketing the 4 on the side, he will then go away from the 5. And considering the location, he's right next to the cushion, so he really can't do much with that in terms of speed. So he's going to have to probably end up shooting the 5 around the position of where the 7 is. Okay, so this is still interesting. This still has some excitement. This shot is by no means automatic. Well, I don't know if he's going to go 2 rails or what, but on the 8, that's for sure. If he, well, he did go 2 cushions, and he shot it in that fashion because he increased the accuracy of the shot by shooting it like that.
Makes the shot a lot easier to execute.
And with that shot, it looks like he's going to close out Strickland. He's deciding now whether he'll go 1 cushion or 2 cushions. Because this angle may suggest that he goes 2 cushions.
I think he'll go 1.
1 cushion, he's gone. Line for the 8. So. It's hard to shoot a shot that hard, you know, but when you have the confidence in your ball pocketing ability, you can do things like that with without being a bit nervous. And at the end of game number 19, Mr. Reyes defeats Earl Strickland.